Welcome to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. I'm Justin Fort, and as a certified financial planner professional with a fiduciary duty, I look at retirement planning in terms of 5 pillars: income, lifetime income for you and your spouse; growth of assets to combat inflation and have the money in the future that you are going to need; liquidity to handle both emergencies and opportunities. Also, we want to have a shield against calamity so you're not wiped out by the unexpected. And also, you may want to leave some money behind to the people and causes you love, and so legacy is often part of our planning and the 5th pillar. If you want to cover all 5 areas and do it with the confidence that you have a fiduciary financial planner that puts your interests first, then please call Fort Wealth Management, 1-800-886-5624. We'll do a free, no obligation 5-point review measuring what you have in place now against what you're probably going to need. Within maybe an hour or a few visits, you'll know more about retirement planning than most financial professionals that maybe you've worked with in the past. Who knows? You'll know your likelihood of success based on your current plan, and you'll also know what you need to do to close the gap that may exist in all 5 of those areas, and we would love to have you. Again, that's 800-886-5624. On today's show, we've got some very hot topics to cover. First, we're going to be talking about senators introducing 3 bills to stop the Department of Labor fiduciary rule that's inevitable, seems to be. We're also going to talk about 3 facets of a fiduciary. What does that word even mean? We're going to be talking about lessons learned about the 2015 markets, as well as combining 2 articles here, the probability of negative U.S. rates, which is crazy to think about. But, you know, that probability is on the rise, and Draghi, boxed in by unforgiving world dragging down and inflation. We're going to be talking about victimized folks, tax fraud, and some other things there, and as well as finally, we're going to, if we've got time, talk about China and how we're a lot of people are seeking to calm fears, but the growth concern there in China seems to be persisting. So let's jump in with senators introducing 3 bills to stop Department of Labor fiduciary rule. This is an article by Mark Schoff from Investment News. 3 senators introduced legislation Thursday to stop a pending Labor Department rule that would raise investment advice standards for retirement accounts. A measure written by Senator Johnny Isakson of Georgia would require Congress to approve the Department of Labor rule, which would require advisors to act as fiduciaries to clients in 401k and individual retirement accounts. That's your IRA. Before it goes into effect. In the likely event the rule fails to win enough votes, it would be replaced by a, quote, best interest standard outlined in Mr. Isakson's bill, the Affordable Retirement Advice Protection Act. A similar bill, Strengthening Access to Valuable Education and Retirement Support Act, was introduced Thursday by Senator Mark Kirk of Illinois. On a third track, Senator of Missouri introduced a bill that would require the Department of Labor to halt its rule until the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, acts on a similar regulation that would establish a uniform fiduciary duty for all retail investment advice. So what we have here is 3 different senators recommending 3 different approaches to what the Department of Labor's fiduciary rules should probably be. This is definitely far from over. The fight is intensifying. And what does this really mean to you? And what's missing from this article, this conversation? Well, all these people want to make sure you're getting the best possible advice about your retirement investment strategies. That's good. And in my opinion, none of them really understand, though, how this really works, more than likely. Why do I say that? Well, I'm going to talk more about this and the fiduciary duty and overall planning and how it really works in our industry when we come back from the next segment. For now, let me just say this. If you want to work with a certified financial planning professional who is also licensed, trained, and equipped to help you with what you will likely need for your best retirement plan, then call me, Justin Fort, at Fort Wealth Management. That's 800-886-5624. We'll do a free, no-obligation 5-point review measuring what you have in place now against what you're probably going to need. Within about an hour or maybe a few visits, depending, you'll probably know more about retirement planning than these three senators. Nothing against them, but, this is an area that requires expertise, and you'll know your likelihood of success based on your current plan. And you'll know what you need to do to close the gap that may exist in all 5 of your areas, 5 of those pillars. And having that kind of plan in place really lets you sleep well at night, which matters immensely, lowers the stress level, right? Fort Wealth Management, call now, 800-886-5624. Coming up next, the part the senators do not know or may not be including in what they're talking about here, the part that is almost never addressed in these discussions, in my opinion, about fiduciary duty. And we're going to call that the 3 facets of a fiduciary. And what does that mean? So stay tuned. We'll be back. Social Security rules have changed, so learn how to maximize your benefits at one of our upcoming seminars, March 1st and March 3rd, at the Saltgrass Steakhouse in Round Rock. To reserve your seat, simply call Fort Wealth Management at 1-800-886-5624 or visit our website at fortwm.com, 800-886-5624.
Investment advisory services offered through AlphaStar Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. AlphaStar Capital Management and Fort Wealth Management are independent entities.
Welcome back to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. In this segment, as promised, I want to address what I call the 3 facets of a financial planner. 3 minutes from now, you'll understand more about financial planners and the fiduciary duty, the term everyone is talking about. Here's what you need to know. There are actually 3 unique facets of a financial planner that I like to talk about. Facet number 1, for securities and investment-related advice, this relates to the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, or everything that is really investment-related. So according to the SEC, fiduciary duty simply means that we, or planners, financial professionals, as licensed practitioners, must make sure that your investments fall in line with your risk tolerance and your goals and are in your best interest, your interest ahead of our own. So that means that, if there's a fund A, fund B, option A, option B, if you will, and option A is better, then option A is what we must use and what we must recommend. That's a fiduciary duty, very simply put. That includes fees, risk, all of these things kind of put together. Risk tolerance is, of course, a really big part of that facet. So getting that right is very important. Facet number 2 of a financial planner, on the planning side, overall, I'm talking here particularly about the certified financial planning professionals of the world. This covers really overall planning, retirement planning, legacy planning. There's all kinds of other planning, but this certified financial planner designation is governed by the CFP board and their rules and things like that. So according to them, fiduciary duty means that a practitioner really should put your interest ahead of their own on all things, not just investment-related things. And here's the operative term, up to the capabilities of the professional or up to the capacity of the professional. Well, what does that really mean? Well, to a certain extent, the CFP board does not require professionals to be independent. As long as the professional is doing the best of their ability, then they're going to pass this kind of test, if you will, or requirement. And really, not all certified financial planner professionals are licensed, right? Not all are both securities licensed and insurance licensed. And some of them may be working for a company, which is, there's nothing really bad about this. You just need to understand that there may be some limitations on that end. And that brings me to facet number 2. If a professional or planner is not independent, they may have to look at the suite of products or investments that they can offer from the company they may work with. So really, when we talk about independent versus captive, those are industry terms, but basically we're talking about whether someone is independent in the sense that either they're self-employed or they own their own business, whereas captive may mean that they work for someone else's company. The captive practitioner can really only provide you or their clients with the products or investments that the company they work for allows or instructs them to use. And the independent practitioner, on the other hand, really generally is not limited by one particular company, broker-dealer, or insurance company, and they can shop around. And I think that's really important. Who wouldn't want that? Now, as you can see, not all fiduciaries are really the same. And so it's important to have, in my opinion, all three facets. You now know how someone who is licensed to use or sell stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance products, and the like may work for one of the big companies would not be able to have the kind of access to those things that may really be in your best interest. Their hands may be tied to some degree, and really it's up to their capabilities, and that's it. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about these facets here in the fiduciary standard. On the other hand, myself, I am securities licensed. I have a fiduciary duty there. Of course, I hold an insurance license. That's really important. We do that with our clients, our plans. I am also a certified financial planner professional, and I enjoy remaining independent. So I feel like I have much more access to things and decisions to make with and for our clients. Now that you understand that not all fiduciaries are created equal, not all are in the same position, here's my shameless pitch, if you will. If you really want to work with a financial planner that has all three of these facets as much as possible, so that they can benefit you as much as possible, then we believe that we have things in place where we can do the best for our clients. And I want you to give us a call if this is what you're looking for. Fort Wealth Management, 1-800-886-5624. We'll do, of course, a no-charge 5-point review of your retirement plan. Inside of an hour or maybe a few visits, of course, may be necessary. You will understand more about retirement planning than you did before, maybe more than the professionals that you've been working with, insurance agents and the like. Who knows? And you'll also know, really more importantly, where you stand now. And if there's a gap in your plan or there's something that needs to be fixed or changed, then we can help you understand what needs to happen to correct those things and get you on the right path. Now, again, the 800 number is 800-886-5624. Call now. Don't delay. Don't wait. Do what's best for you and your family. Get the advice that you need in your interest from independent people. Again, Fort Wealth Management, 800-886-5624. When we come back, we're going to talk about lessons learned about the 2015 markets, so please stay tuned. Social Security rules have changed, so learn how to maximize your benefits at one of our upcoming seminars, March 1st and March 3rd, at the Saltgrass Steakhouse in Round Rock. To reserve your seat, simply call Fort Wealth Management at 1-800-886-5624 or visit our website at fortwm.com, 800-886-5624.
Investment advisory services offered through AlphaStar Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. AlphaStar Capital Management and Fort Wealth Management are independent entities.
Welcome back to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. Now, let's talk about lessons learned. Lessons learned about the 2015 markets. This is an article by Alan Roth, AARP.org. Last year is now history, and the year-end stats are here. The total return of the S&P 500 stock index, including dividends, was 1.38%, while bonds were flat, with the Barclays Aggregate Bond Index returning only 0.55%. Crude oil and gasoline prices plummeted, and gold lost more luster. So with all that in mind, here are 3 strategies to help you potentially better protect your financial future. Number 1, take a long-term perspective. Probably heard that before. Well, 1 year is a short period in the world of investing. Still, the headlines read, stocks plunge on another wild day on Wall Street and stocks surge, Dow exits correction territory. This seems to make investing nerve-wracking, which it can. But my advice, again, and of course, this is from the article, don't buy all financial headlines. Stick to your guns, stick to your plan. Consider this. The daily standard deviation in 2015 was about 0.96% versus an average of 1.08% since 1980. The myth of market volatility continues. The headlines are enough to make anyone crazy. Ignoring them and taking a long-term perspective may help you worry less and sleep better at night. Number 2, be wary of predictions. No one knows the future. I couldn't find many experts who a year ago predicted flat financial markets for 2015. Even for forecasting the economy is tough. I went back to the beginning of 2015 to look at the forecasts of our nation's top economists, this reads, and so from treasury bond yields to oil, they got it all wrong, and spectacularly so. We really, the community missed the mark. Hard to predict those markets, isn't it? Number 3, indexing. According to Chicago-based research company Morningstar, 80% of mutual funds investing in large company U.S. stocks failed to beat a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Other studies point to the same conclusion. So what do I think will happen in 2016? Headlines will read stocks surge and stocks plunge and markets volatile. Expert predictions will most likely be wrong. Most active funds will underperform a low-cost broad index. Granted, these predictions aren't as emotionally appealing as a precise one, like stocks will return 11%. But if you combine my predictions with the 3 lessons above, your portfolio will likely be more prosperous in 2016 and beyond. Interesting article, suggest you read it. Guess what? This is how we do it at Fort Wealth Management. We figure out what belongs in your retirement portfolio, right? We've got tests and we've got all kinds of neat things that we do there in our office based on your hopes and dreams, your goals, your risk tolerance, and where you stand right now and where you want to be. We will take a look at where you are, and then we get you the version of what you need with maybe the lowest volatility, if that's what you want, and maybe the lowest fees where possible. If that isn't what you want, then I'm not sure what is. If you're talking about investing in the market, so. To help you do this, we have to sit in person and I have to take a look at what you've got going on. And that's why it's important to call me, Justin Fort, at Fort Wealth Management, 1-800-886-5624. I can't do this over the radio, and I can't give advice, and that's not what we're doing. And of course, I don't know the future, but we can put together sound plans so that you may be able to fare as best as possible in turbulent times. And I will personally do a no-charge, no-obligation review of what you got going on, which means in about an hour or maybe a few visits, you know where you're going to stand. You know what might need to happen for you to be able to take advantage of opportunities or avoid expensive losses from risks that maybe you don't have to take or don't want to take. So I'd encourage you to call me now, Fort Wealth Management, 1-800-886-5624. Imagine knowing you have the investments that are matched to your best interest, matched also to your risk tolerance and your goals, so that you can sleep better at night, knowing that things are going to be going according to your plans and your goals, and you're getting them, potentially at lower prices or lower fees. Who knows? We can do an assessment to see what you're paying now. We'll find out. We can do comparisons on all of that. We've got great software, great team. Don't wait. Call now. Fort Wealth Management, 1-800-886-5624. Now, when we get back, I'll be combining 2 stories that make the most sense when taken together. First, the probability of negative U.S. rates is on the rise, and then Draghi, boxed in by unforgiving world, dragging down inflation. You definitely don't want to miss this. Social Security rules have changed, so learn how to maximize your benefits at one of our upcoming seminars, March 1st and March 3rd, at the Saltgrass Steakhouse in Round Rock. To reserve your seat, simply call Fort Wealth Management at 1-800-886-5624 or visit our website at fortwm.com, 800-886-5624.
Investment advisory services offered through AlphaStar Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. AlphaStar Capital Management and Fort Wealth Management are independent entities.
Welcome back to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. This is where I'll combine two stories to make one powerful point. First, it looks like the U.S. could be going into negative interest rate territory, and the whole world may be going into negative inflation rates. Article, the probability of negative U.S. rates is on the rise, from Alexandra Skaggs. This is from Bloomberg Business. Global central banks have opened the door to negative U.S. interest rates in Wall Street's view. After the Bank of Japan cut some rates below zero last month to spur growth and inflation, strategists are weighing the Federal Reserve's options in case of a crisis. If the world's biggest economy weakens enough that traditional policy measures don't help, the Fed may consider pushing rates below zero, according to the Bank of America Corp and J.P. Morgan Chase. Draghi, boxed in by unforgiving world dragging down inflation. This is from Fergal O'Brien, Bloomberg Business as well. As the European Central Bank President Mario Draghi pumps billions of euros of stimulus into the economy every month, he's seeing continued euro expansion and a slow decline in unemployment. But he also faces outside forces, including an emerging market-led slowdown and an oil price slump that threatens to drag inflation back to zero. So for months, the Fed has had interest rates hovering at zero, and after all the drama about maybe raising rates, they raised rates a little, and now they're looking at taking potentially rates back down, maybe even below zero. They may not be able to stop this, and that would be called deflation. And really, who saw this coming? Well, what does this mean to you? Well, people who have planned appropriately don't get bent out of shape over this kind of stuff. Why? Because they know they're going to be okay whether rates go up or down. You have to have a plan in place like that, even if rates go into negative territory. Do you want the kind of plan where you don't have to worry about what Mario Draghi does or China and with their interest rate policies? Then if so, call me, 1-800-886-5624. Together we can craft a plan that's workable for your future, that considers these possibilities, the kind of plan that helps you sleep well at night and have a low-stress, fun, enjoyable, successful retirement. Again, that's 800-886-5624. When we come back from this break, we're going to be talking about tax fraud and what you can do about it, how to protect yourself. So we'll stay tuned and see you then. Social Security rules have changed, so learn how to maximize your benefits at one of our upcoming seminars, March 1st and March 3rd, at the Saltgrass Steakhouse in Round Rock. To reserve your seat, simply call Fort Wealth Management at 1-800-886-5624 or visit our website at fortwm.com, 800-886-5624.
Investment advisory services offered through AlphaStar Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. AlphaStar Capital Management and Fort Wealth Management are independent entities.
Welcome back to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. Victimized by tax fraud, here's what to do. This is an article from Ray Martin, Money Watch, on CBSNews.com. One of the fastest growing crimes is ID theft, involving a fraudulently filed tax return by someone who has your Social Security number and tries to get your refund. Unfortunately, most victims find out only when they try to file. Instead of getting confirmation from the IRS of a properly filed return, they get a rejection because a tax return in their name has already been filed. Don't let this happen to you. If it does, here are the steps the IRS advises taking. File your return by paper if you are unable to e-file. Include a completed Form 14039 identity theft affidavit with your paper tax return. When the IRS receives your Form 14039 and paper return, your case will be sent to its special identity theft victim assistance organization, and you'll receive an acknowledgement letter. Finally, one of the best things you can do to minimize your odds of this fraud is to file your tax return as quickly as possible. That way, if the fraudulent return is filed after you've already filed the real one, the fraudster is more likely going to be rejected. What does this mean to you? Hopefully nothing. Hopefully this never happens to you. But if you are a victim, please know that you can take action and help yourself. If you need a link to this article or any of the others we talked about today on the show, give us a call at 800-886-5624, and we will get you set up. Now, the 5 pillars: income, growth, liquidity, shield, legacy. Those are the 5 pillars you're probably going to want to have in place, solid as possible, for your retirement plan and your financial plan. And, we want you to know that you can come to Fort Wealth Management and we can help you with those areas. Once you understand that it's really all about these 5 pillars, you'll know you need the help of a real life, honest to goodness planner that has your interest ahead of their own, as we do, a fiduciary with all 3 facets like we talked about, someone trained to handle all 5 areas. Well, that's us. That's me, Justin Fort. So call me at 1-800-886-5624. Make an appointment. Spend a little time with me. You'll be amazed at the things you never thought of. You'll also be amazed at how easy I make it, or I try to make it, and you will feel so good knowing that this is how you make life work for you, your family, and you can finally get things in order the way you know they should be. Go with your gut. Do what you feel you need to do, and call 800-886-5624. If I'm right, you know where you want to go. You know what a successful retirement looks like. We just want to help you. We want to help you with inflation, medical bills, all these things that are going to happen inevitably, and have a solid plan in place so you can live the retirement of your dreams. And when you have that in place, I'll tell you, that just feels great. That's what makes a happy and successful retirement. Look forward to seeing you again, 800-886-5624. See you next time.